Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, sure. Please.
Yeah.
Should I start? Oh, he's already there. Okay. Thank you. Um, Hello, everyone. I am Paula, and I'm going to be moderating this session's film discussion with the filmmakers. Some of them have joined us online, so that's why we have this funny setting, but they can hear us already, right?
Can you ask
Yeah.
them if they hear?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Alberto, Jorge,
Hello.
yeah, okay. Can we test, did we test their mics?
Can you tell them to test the mics?
Yeah, can you speak, just open the mic so we can know if we can hear you.
Hello, Paula. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Alberto, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me?
Now, yeah, sure. And Jorge, I guess, can we just test the mic?
Hello, everyone. Can you listen to me?
Okay, we can hear you guys. Nice, thank you so much. Yeah, so we obviously have very different films in this session, which I find amazing that they're put together. They're very different in their subjects and approaches and formats. But I think we could really say that they all follow a sort of human efforts in making one's existence possible, either collectively or individually, while implicating social, political, and even environmental adversities and contexts. So I guess it would be nice to have a take of you guys over your projects. And I would invite you to start this round with short introductions where you can present yourselves and talk a little bit about your relationship with your own project and how it came to be. I would like Max to initiate, since you're here and I can pass you the mic.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Max Kerkhoff. I'm from Berlin. Well, first, I would like to thank everybody that you bared with the screening, because things were quite tiny on the screen. Maybe everybody should have moved to the front. From the feeling on the last two text slates, I would just say what it said there because people had trouble reading it, I think. That the road, this road in eastern Burma connects 5 different territories that or territories that were controlled by 5 different warring parties, ethnic armies, the Burmese military, and so on and so forth. And at the moment when we were shooting, this was a sign of progress that actually a road like this could be built. And yeah, that was basically what was on the first slate. And the second slate said that since the 2021 military coup, all work has ceased, all the progress, all the hope is not materializing in this road. And yeah, and there's actually, I don't know if it says there, I don't remember, but there's actually fighting on the same road happening again. So yeah, it was only a short window into a time of progress where hope seemed more feasible. Yeah, we shot the project. We're actually shooting something else, and we always pass the road construction sites, and we basically shot this every morning and every evening after shooting a commissioned project we did for the UN there that we stopped. So we got up at 4 a.m, so we were there at 5:30 before they came. We're shooting for 2 hours, and then we went and did our commission shoot, and then we came back at 4 and did the last 2 hours of the day, which also meant we did not film them when it was hottest and hardest to work, actually. It was the most pleasant moments of the day, which it did not feel like that. Yeah, I think this was a lot of talking already, but sorry. I always have to turn around to you, but maybe it's better. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Maybe you can pass on now to Jorge. We're doing it reverse. So, Jorge, if you can give us your short introduction and talk a little bit about your film.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming there. Of course, I'd like to stay there with all of you, but in this moment, it's impossible. I stay now in Peru working in a project, so it's impossible to stay there. But thank you for a project, my project Dulce y Salada, and of course it's amazing to have this space to share the project with different eyes and different perspectives of the world. So my project is about a small question. I am a photographer. I shoot this short film in a very intuitive way, but I have a small questions about the relationship we have with the water. So I try to understand this question, I don't know, maybe for 7 or 8 years in a long-term project, focusing photography because it's my first approach. So in some moments I try to understand the everyday life in the town, in this strange and amazing town. It's Nueva Venecia, where the people lives up of the water. Their houses is in the top of water in the big ciénaga. I don't know how ciénaga in English, but in this big body of water. So I try to shoot in video in different moments, in different years, and try to understand how is this relationship with the water for this community. So in the short film, I try to put these questions, and I try to make a narrative with different points of connections. The first one is about the human time. This human time, it's about our worries, about our everyday, about the small time we have in comparison of the time of the universe, of the time of the earth. That is the second link, because I try to understand how is the mythic narrative about the beginning of the earth, about the beginning of the water. So I try to make these connections in the short film. And of course, the pictures and other things I do about this project try to show different aspects of this project, but the short film is about this.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Jorge. Now we'll pass the word to Alberto.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting our movie to the festival. I'm a very big fan of the festival, so it's really my honor to be there. I am currently in Hong Kong, and this movie was shot in 2018. The way we shot it was we tried to make an ethnofiction, so shared anthropology, and we first did a weekly workshop, a weekly acting, improvising workshop with the women domestic workers for about 9 months. This was without cameras. It happened in a small theater. And in this workshop, we were simply acting out different scenes from their life. The workshop was called improv acting, but of course you can imagine a lot of, let's say, group therapy sessions, because some of the events that happened in there migration life and migration story were really tough. And over the months, we have assembled together a selection of events that happened to some of the women involved. And then we have created a fiction story with one character that goes through some of the events that were really lived by the participants. Then together we chose one actress from Indonesia, and we have shot it as a feature film, so as a fiction film. But you can see that so much of it was improvised, and so many of the co-protagonist roles are actually given to the very migrant women that participated into our acting workshop. So instead of being me filming the people or the team filming and representing the people, we actually shared the creative tools from script to later shooting and choosing all of the locations as well as the families, and then also all the way to editing, because we had 5 versions of the rough cut, always showing it to the group until the group was happy with the version that you have seen. The movie that we were inspired was Moi en Noir by Jean Rouch, and during the 9 months of workshop, we have also screened a lot of Jean Rouch films in Hong Kong. It was the first time the movies were presented, and of course, the women in our laboratory watched the movies, and they met with Jocelyne Rouch, who is the widow of Jean Rouch, and so there was that connection. And later, our aim was to advocate for better life quality for the migrant workers in Hong Kong, because they face so many troubles. And that's why we also decided to craft it more like a feature film, because we hoped that would have a higher impact on the mainstream discourse. But unfortunately, we didn't manage that. So that might be weak point of our whole project. And thank you so much for watching it. I'm looking forward to discuss with you if you have any questions or if you just want to share your impressions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to all the filmmakers. You all did wonderful jobs. And I guess if we have already some questions, or you can even direct it to all of them or to one specific film, we have a microphone for the audience. So if you would be interested in talking to them or sharing something, that now is the moment. Because I think I think one of the I would have some specific comments on in different levels for all the films, but I starting from Alberto that just spoke to us now. I would like to say about you, I would like to ask you about your experience in this specific collaboration, in the sense of being as a filmmaker and as an anthropologist, the feeling that you get, and also the how it brings you back to that reality, how it brings you closer to their reality by following their scripts and also following these workshops. Because I think one of the strongest parts of the image is beautiful, but the script is also kind of, you can see how much is addressing real life experiences, and it is told in a very like a fiction feature way, but you can see how it gets us by surprise when it's followed in their story. So I would like to ask you a little bit, how was it to get in touch with that?
Thank you. I come from 10 years of documentaries, actually, and this was my closest attempt to go towards fiction. So definitely the texture and the way we worked is very documentary style. I think the difference with films where I was the one filming the, my idea of what I was looking, as opposed to this, is that you really feel the dialogue and the compromise in every single choice. Because I am, of course, a man, a Western white man. I have little in common with this group of women migrants from Indonesia who come to Hong Kong working as domestic helpers. So maybe I see and I automatically might have an eye that could be victimizing them. And at every step, there was so much of this soft spoken kind of power that they were sharing, both in the experiences they were sharing, but most importantly, in the reactions that they've had facing some of the events that they have faced. And so I think that, or I hope the movie could feel more empowering. And this is probably the difference I have felt, in the sense that we were telling a story collectively. And so of course, aesthetic choices were to be taken collectively, and this has a big impact. But before that, I think narration choices were really different, because they very easily lost patience every time I wanted to make choices that would kind of depict sort of sad context. They would lose patience with that very easily. And they really were very outspoken. And we had discussions when they were also angry at times because specific parts didn't make them happy. And then another challenge was, inside of the group, we had women that were 20. So that's the first time they go abroad, the first time they see a big city, the first time they have a sort of meeting the world kind of open up kind of feeling. And that's a very different experience than some other women we had in the group that were 40 plus. They have 2 kids, they have a job at home, and of course the experience they go through when they go to Hong Kong is very different, right? So this challenge was also a very big one, the way to put these experiences together. In the end, we cut a lot, and some parts were experiences of the older women, some parts were experiences of the 20-year-old women. But all in all, I mean, we managed to make everybody happy with the final result. So I hope, yeah, that was my experience.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing to know a little bit more about the process. I would ask the same for Jorge, actually. How did the process of filmmaking, coming from a photography background, how did the process of filmmaking actually went for you in terms of getting to know the realities you're dealing with? Was it any different? And how did you choose in the end? How did you come up with the format that we watched today?
Uh, Thank you for your question. This is, I don't know if I understand everything of your question, but I try to follow my instincts. So for me, this process is every day. It's a new knowledge, because I never do before video. So I record every day like a very spontaneous way. So for one moment, I go with another friends to record different things in the town. But in the edition process is I think is the most difficult way, because I try to find something in the image and in the sounds, some special feeling, and I can have for many years, because I try to make the videos, have the stories, understand how is the I don't know, the film universe, but I don't know. I have this final piece with many different hands and with a lot of friends working every day. Try to put in order the ideas. We create a soundtrack for this with the landscapes I record for many years in different parts of Colombia, in rivers and storms and the oceans and wind and different things. And I think this soundtrack help us to understand the project and help me to understand my ideas about how the video it's another piece of this big project, and how help to the audience to understand what happened in this town. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
Yeah, you did. Amazing. Thank you very much. And Max, I think still extending it to you, what does it mean for you now to see the what's happening in in Myanmar and the process of your work? I'm sorry.
No, I think it's the right question. And it makes it feel very weird, because the film started to have a festival life about a month after, well, it was selected for festivals before, but the actual premiere was, I think, a month after the military coup. And I think how I feel about it is very irrelevant, but now I'm here, so I'll talk about it. And I think that it makes it this film, I feel it doesn't do justice to what's happening there. I don't think if anything can, but all it does is it shows a little slice of a moment where there was enough progress that you were able to worry about working conditions, about what happens to nature, about who has power in a certain location, who doesn't. So who builds a road in an indigenous area? Who gets to profit off of it? Who does it hurt? And those questions are relevant, but compared to what's happening there right now, they become incredibly, well, irrelevant is not the right word, but they don't feel as urgent. And the urgent questions are others. It's urgent that 80% of the population of this area has fled into camps, into the jungle, to Thailand. That some people started fighting with rebels again. This was the backdrop that we had when we were working there on this other project. We were traveling these roads and being in in this area. And we were always hearing the stories of by Pascal Coutouet, who was also a co-creator of the film, who is an author and former guerrilla. He was forced to become a guerrilla fighter in his life, and we always heard, we were traveling the area, and he was just saying, well, this village was burnt 3 times, this happened here, this happens there. And we were always passing these construction sites, which were really a sign of, people were hopeful about them. They didn't look hopeful to us, but everybody, the workers, everybody was very positive about it. So this was kind of the feelings and sensations that brought it there. And now with what's happening now for the past year, and it has not gotten any better. Like the past year, it's only gotten worse. So yeah, I must say, when I talk about it, it just makes me very sad because yeah. Anyway, but I hope it kind of answers the question, or a question.
Sure. Thank you, and I can imagine that's a challenge to be launching the film now. But I guess it also says a lot about the timing of filmmaking, and it also has a message by its contrast. So yeah.
And it is related. I mean, the film does deal with progress after conflict, and it just hurts that. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it hurts, but still, it's not. It doesn't. The problem is you forget. It's so easy to forget what's happening right there when you're just looking at. If you immerse yourself into the film, and the way we made the film was to immerse yourself into it, and that creates a tension that I feel is slightly inadequate. Still, at least there is a film from Burma kind of being shown, and there is conversations about it, but that's not enough. But obviously, I mean, that's true for so many places in the world.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your thoughts and comments. Do we have questions now from the audience? Yeah, there. I guess it's Martin.
Yeah, thank you for your films, all of you. I have a question to Alberto. You explained your approach a little bit, and you said that you were possibly victimizing the women that you worked with. And so I was wondering, how did you invent the story, or who invented the story, and why didn't you focus on other aspects if you were afraid that this might be a tendency of your film?
Thank you, Martin. The way the script came about was we met once a week on Sunday, because Sunday is the free holiday day for the domestic workers in Hong Kong. A couple of hours just after lunch for around 9 months. And in these 2 hours, in a small kind of theater room, we did an improv workshop, acting improv workshop, where basically the women were at the same time getting some acting skills, but also they were sharing experiences that they lived in their migration life. The main question was, is there anything you would like to share today? Is there an impressive event in your migration life that you would like to share? And with this question, of course, they came with very powerful scenes from their migration life. So every scene that you have seen in the movie has happened to one or more of the women that participated in the workshop. And then, without writing down, but more in an oral way, we have collected and put together the actions and the scenes that in the acting improv workshop were more strong or seemed more relevant to the whole group. Until in the end, of course, you can imagine most of them were quite painful experiences. And then that's how the script became in this kind of direction. 2 years before this movie, there was a fiction film shot in Hong Kong that was a sort of sugar-coated version of the life of domestic workers in Hong Kong. And I must say, quite often in Hong Kong, there is not so great representations of the domestic workers. So in a sense, there was a need from the group to show how hard the life is, both to the local Hong Kong audience, but also for them to the audience back home in Indonesia. In Indonesia, they are called visa heroes, because they go abroad as women, and then they really afford their whole family, children and husband in so many cases. And people from home, in their words, are not understanding how harsh is their condition in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in South Korea, in Taiwan, in Japan, etc. And they treat them as if they are living a very easier life. And so they wanted to use this chance also to share how not easy their life is. When I spoke about victimizing, I meant that not necessarily with the choice of events, but in the way I wanted to show it, or I was thinking about showing it. For example, putting a sad music under a scene, or deciding how to put the camera, etc. I made choices that they were quite unhappy with, and so our discussions were quite focused on the script and on how to shoot it. And that's how I realized that actually they were very not concerned with the social issues in a way, and also they were very not concerned with some of the anthropological concepts that I might have wanted to sneak inside or put inside, right? Sometimes maybe we want to address labor or specific big terms, and then the group was quite uninterested in these things. They just were more interested in the single events. So the experience was in this direction.
Great, thank you, Alberto. Do we have any more questions? Here, where's the mic? Here in the front. Thank you.
Question to Max. I wonder if this was planned as an installation. For me, it would be a good possibility to use it also as an installation.
Yes. It actually, this idea was it just it exists as both versions, but somehow it has taken off as a split screen film, and it hasn't been publicly shown as an installation. But also it's not my background, so maybe if you have the right connection to the art world, we should talk.
That's why you chose not, or is there another?
The question was why I chose not to have translations. I guess that actually has to do with my anthropological background. I don't see it as an anthropological film in itself, but it's one thing is that I think this film is a representation of our Western, and in this case also male gaze of four more or less German guys coming onto this construction site. So we didn't have the right to interpret too much what was happening. That's also why this stylized form for me works, because it stops you from crossing the bridge. You always stay outside, like it's immersive, but you still feel there's something artificial about it. And that is, for me, that is this encounter that we had with the workers, where we had we were there with Pascal, but in the end, when we were filming, they knew some English, very little. I knew very little Burmese, and the others none. And I don't know any Burmese either, really. And yeah, this is it. It just happened that I find it has its own chronology, its own dramaturgy, but that's why the form of the split screen. You asked for the translations. The other reason is the things they're saying seem to me, if you translate them, they become too relevant. And in a short film with so little speech, if you then translate only 5 phrases, they become very relevant, and they were not relevant to what we were saying. And if anybody understands them, that's great. But there is no. I think the impression is stronger to not be told what is happening.
Sure, thank you. I just maybe we should close it already. So I would like to thank you guys. Congratulations, and I hope that we can be joining together in meeting someday, next time, another festival. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching and for your comments. And we're having another session right away, right? It's on media. It starts at 8.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I stole somebody's time to make a question, but I really wanted to know.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
So much.